plan here, something that they want to look towards. Poppy ban is some kind of mobile jungler. Could be Jarvan, is the one that comes to mind immediately. But Vi, sorry, it's Vi. Vi is what they're looking for. Poppy ban, okay. Vi is left open. Should be the Vi here first for Junhao. Makes the most sense. Now, Ahri is something you can go to pair with that. Answers to this, however, I mean, Zyra Khan, not something that is super common. It's great into the Vi, but it will just be the Ashe, maybe Seraphine locked up to, although I wouldn't be as opposed to a Braum, but it is just Ashe Seraphine. It's been a while, say, since we've seen this combo just locked away 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm back in spring at this point. Yeah. It feels like we're in an April series, not an August series by this point. And the Rumble is kind of in tote with that. It's Rumble Ahri. So Vi Ahri, very powerful duo. We are, holy moly, guys. I'm not even seeing hovers right now. We're flying through. We're already into the second phase of bans. But I think everybody's kind of happy with the get away with in aspects here, Jay Beto. Ahri Vi is very fun. Ashe Seraphine's still a very good duo. Galio into double AP solo lanes. Feels like everyone's eating good right now at this draft on both sides.
I think the one problem here is that what are ThunderTalk going to play? Could be a Sivir, but there's so much CC and range with the Ashe Seraphine that could be tough. Varus might be an option in the bot lane, but I'm getting concerned because Caitlyn Bard was an answer in the past. That's gone. Lucia Milio's gone. Lulu lanes are now gone. Jin's gone. You're really running out of options here. Maybe some mages. We might have to pick up some mages. Maybe that Shen as well for Feather that we saw earlier. I love the start of this draft, though, from ThunderTalk. The Vi Ahri Rumble. Really standard front to back, hit the first target and go. The Galio was a really nice flex too, like you mentioned. Double AP solo laners. BLG most likely going to lock away their jungler. Keep this flex alive. Here's this Nefiri. Works pretty well into the Vi. Good 1v1 potential. Can get charmed by the Ahri, but the dogs can block that charm. So it's actually a pretty decent matchup for the Nefiri. I'm just thinking about what are ThunderTalk going to play in the bot lane. Like, is it going to be a Zeri Yuumi game? We've seen that as an answer to this all-in, because you can, answer to the bot lane, because you can look for an all-in at level 6. It's actually going to be the Mbessa, most likely, unless it's jungle Mbessa for Fondra in the top lane into Rumble.
So, I think Nefiri is still good, but I am a big fan of Mbessa in this draft. Because you think about how many ways can you guarantee that public execution? Ashe Arrow. You've got the double tap snare. You've got the encore. You've got a Galio taunt, a Galio knockup. Regardless if this is Shun or Flandre's, it should be very easy to land these public executions onto a composition where anybody that gets hit by it at this point, Jay Beto, is getting blown up. There's no tank on this TT composition side. The Sivir gets locked in, so On is 4-0. He's undefeated on this Sivir so far. A tough spot to pull it out, and it seems like Feather doesn't know where he wants to go with this final pick.
I like the Yuumi. I really do. I think the champion's good. I think it can work well in the lane. You can go Mikhails and really protect this Sivir. I think Feather not super comfortable on that. Wants to go towards the engage more. That does make sense. You've got a draft that really wants to go forward now. It'll be the Nefiri anyway. So,
oh man, this top side.
There is a lot of damage in this game again. ThunderTalk's draft has to get value in the early game. Sivir scales, none of the others do. No. Rakan engage is great. Equalizer late game, it's there, sure. But Fire's going to get outscaled. Ahri is going to... there's a lot of bodies in front of her, the dogs as well from Nefiri. They have to get active early. It's a draft, it's a comp that has to fight. That's all they do. They fight, they press R on top of you. It's a very simple idea of a draft. And it's a draft that does that really well. Problem is, you're engaging into the slows from Ashe, the stun, the vision that she can contest. Seraphine... and mostly this Galio. Galio does a great job of disrupting in this draft. And then BLG kind of have this counter dive where the Nefiri, the Mbessa go in with the Encore on top and try to take out this Sivir. If the Sivir dies later on, not a ton of damage to get through the tanky lineup that BLG do have.
Yeah. It is a very fun switch up for BLG. You're talking a lot about how they're going to have to be the ones playing a slower, a more reserved early game. You're talking about a team that loves to go in, go forward. We saw that in droves in game 1. Now, I agree with you. I think they have to play fights much more patiently because they need to wait for TT to make the first move. So BLG playing a much different style comp, looking to try and get the sweep over ThunderTalk as we are back to Summoner's Rift. Jayo's ring true. And we get our minions starting off our game here. Talked a bit about how TT are going to look to perma-fight. The chaos of this team has always been led by their jungler, always looking to scrap, so definitely fits their team identity. But some of these lanes could, be a little bit rockier. More so, I think, the bot side. Ash Seraphine really oppressive early on, and we're seeing that from Viper and on. As Shun has been spotted on this invade, but it's really hard to get help for him as On has to burn his barrier. Mid lane is hard for, I believe, Heru to move at this point. So it's another game where BLG, they're showing their game plan, Jay Beto. Shut down Junhao on his early start to a game.
Yep. I think even though ThunderTalk needs to get active early, the Nefiri early game against Vi level 1 is so terrible. Oh, now Shun's behind Junhao. This is a bit of a ring around
Nobody's
the rosy
moving
kind
from the
of
lanes.
situation.
This
Is pure jungle 1v1. They typed in all chat before, don't come. We're just going to find each other in the jungle. Maybe Shun continues and tries to fight Vi on her camps more, because again, Vi pre-6, even pre-3 is really bad.
Well, it does not end up ticking over to that level 3 like you called out. Knight gets up to 900th game in the LPL. Another accolade for the legend. Got a
only 10
pair of
years.
respects in that moment. In 8 years. Wow, that is quite a feat. Not going to see more of Junhao's camp stolen away there, of course. But is going to be Shun finally back to his clear. That is a ghost pop there from Viper. Spell Shield's going to go down. There is no barrier up here for On. He's just going to face tank it and hold on to his flash, but Viper already starting to run away with this CS difference. He is up a wave worth of minions already, and it's only going to get worse.
So I'm not a huge fan of the Rakan. I get that you can find all-ins. Viper has no cleanse, so that you can look for that. You can really look for that. But you can't really help On get through the lane. Nice charm there from Heru to deny that minion. But yeah, you can't really help the Sivir actually get through the lane, actually farm. And maybe you'd prefer Lulu or Karma. Karma was played in the last game. Lulu was banned. Yumi's really the only thing left open to try to shield. And yeah, Rakan has a little bit of shielding and some healing with the Q, but On, you can see, really struggling in this early game. And this is the late game linchpin for ThunderTalk. I'm more focused on the rest of their draft getting active at the level 6 timers. See Feather start roaming with Junhao and Heru. As Scuttle Crab goes over. This will be another double Scuttle game. It should be, at least for Shun.
Hasn't taken that first reset yet. Junhao does have 2 long swords off of his back. But like you talked about, he's got some bot lane camps to clear through. We'll see how long it takes before either of them recognize that that top lane Scuttle Crab is yet to be taken. As I say that, Shun immediately pings it that he's on the way there. So good call there from you, Jay Beto, on a heater after that Vi B1 pick. First selection. I see you there, man. Got to give you your props. And here's Shun that will secure both of those crabs. And it's important to remember, we kind of talked about it a bit out of draft, but as starkly different as it is to game 1 of our series, BLG, they need to be a bit more measured with their aggression on the map. They need to especially respect this TT top side in particular once these ultimates come online soon. So it's good to see them, Shun getting active, trying to punish Junhao early on those pre-level 3 Vi stuff, but they gotta remember once these ults come online, it's a whole different ball game.
Down double Scuttle, but Junhao's up XP. Doing a pretty good job of keeping the game even. But yeah, this is a comp that if ThunderTalk start to get the ball rolling, hold on.
Heru, he's just walking Knight down.
Damn!
And he's got himself a solo bolo to start off this game for TT.
That is crazy. After what Knight just did to you as well, coming out with a confidence to look for the all-in like that. And I was just talking about if ThunderTalk can get the ball rolling on a comp like this, as Flandre will roam down for Junhao. Junhao has flash, so he should be okay.
Trying to cut the distance. Gonna have to be a dry public execution whenever he wants to throw it out. The Vault Breaker's canceled. Flandre now gonna whip the public execution, but Shun follows flash for flash, and the Darkened Daggers sink into the first BLG kill. Heru's heroics squandered a bit here as Shun takes over the jungle.
Yeah, Junhao, you can see the cam not happy with how that went. If he had gotten the punch over the wall, maybe if he had flashed first and then saved the Vault Breaker, might have been able to get away. Sure, very aware of that. But yeah, this is a comp for ThunderTalk that if it starts to get rolling, very hard to stop. But Nefiri, a champion that is also like that. If you can get the Nefiri rolling early, can really take over a game. Don't know if you need... I think you just could have just sidestepped that, but on... sorry, Feather went for the Aura E to on and then still get hit by it into Guardian proc. Anyway, need to see Heru use this little lead that he's got, the 2 stacks of Dark Seal, 500 lead, you know, get his Malignance on early and then try to help because this jungle 1v1 not gonna be any easier. This is gonna give Shun 6 as well, so it should just be Dragon over to BLG.
Yeah, this is Shun taking over the bot side. Really love his game plan here, playing towards a much more early strength top side and mid lane in game 1. Saw him really play towards the top side of Junhao, and now he recognizes, I've got Ash Seraphine into Sivir Rakan, man. The bot half of this map is all mine.
This is smart pathing from BLG. They're aware that ThunderTalk probably going to give and go topside for the scuttle. So instead they drop the dragon and go for the 2v2. Keshi has first roam though. And Junhao did take over to level 6, so they have to give over the scuttle. This means they don't get the dragon. I feel like the better decision with this bot pro is just do the Drake. I understand maybe you want to skirmish, maybe Junhao doesn't hit 6. You're there first, potentially, but not how it ended up playing out. Keshi roams. Junhao and Heru link up. Scuttle over. Now the XP. Oh,
no,
nice ult.
The back on vision from Keshi. And here comes the heroic entrance. Not going to get the knock up with the flash. Means Keshi has no other ways away from Flandre. He runs out of cooldowns and has to let Keshi go. He's going to equalize the wave to make sure he doesn't get dove, but he's going to walk into Knight. He doesn't even need the dive to find the kill. Keshi walks up to a brush that he just could not go into.
It is a positive play for BLG. They get the kill and the grubs, but they're losing Drake. This sequence just feels a little awkward to me. I mean, Keshi doesn't have to die there. He ulted the wave and probably could just base. Sure, a mistake. But it still feels to me as though BLG could have just done the Drake, maybe gone bot and gone for a dive, denied some waves. It ends up paying off for BLG, but a much closer game than our last game was. Heru still with the lead even after Knight got that kill. Big CS lead in mid. Bot lane winning for BLG, and Shun's wins have stunted a little bit. He got that first kill and hasn't really blossomed into anything more.
I think the biggest win for the bottom lane, though, Jay Beto, maybe is the fact that Shun gets those 3 grubs completely uncontested, because they've already did a pretty decent chunk work into this bottom lane tier 1 turret, taking the first 2 plates off. Now with these grubs, that touch of the void, they're going to be able to generate even more passive gold. It's something that the best teams do when it comes to those grubs. They really find ways to adjust their game plan into just maximizing turret plates. It's something I know Alk Battery talks about a lot with the grubs and the state of these turret plates. Just the sheer amount of gold that you can accrue from taking plates alone can completely put you on such a further point ahead in going into those mid games. So I'm curious to see how many plates BLG can garner off those grubs in this laning phase, particularly in that bot side, as they already got rid of the third plate as we were talking about it on that tier 1 turret.
Yep, built up a pretty decent lead, and if I believe Viper's going to be he probably Storm Razor or Junhao. When he gets that online, going to be pretty scary. I definitely see the argument. You know, with grubs, you can, you know, move around together and get the plates. I think the dragons are superior. Obviously, if you do give over so much, then the dragon lead doesn't matter. You probably won't even get to soul, but I think that
it's walking
these,
that line.
the permanent buffs, the stat buffs are incredibly important for the game, and having the skirmishing around. We're not ulting this, right? We're not canceling this base.
No.
Okay.
That would be... Oh, man, that would have been funny. No, but I get you, Jay Beto. It's the push and pull, right? I mean, it lands somewhere in the middle when it comes to dragons versus grubs and what phases of the game. Definitely feels like if BLG can get this second dragon, a lot of your valid worries about their play selection will kind of go to the wayside, or it'll end up being a pivotal win con here for TT, as 1.5k gold is something you could easily come back from, again, especially when we think about how much stronger ThunderTalk are going to feel in this mid-game on their first item, Power Spikes, trying to chain some of these key ultimates together. But it's a lot harder to do that. It's a lot harder to get into your rhythm when you can't even feel safe in your own jungle. That's the quickness pop by Feather, just to make sure that Shun doesn't execute him.
Yeah, a bit scary, but very mobile champion. Now got to be cautious of this dive, as Viper does use the grubs to most likely get himself another plate. Pretty solid lead here for the Ashe. I think, yeah, the reason is once you get the dragon, you don't really have to do anything more. With the grubs, there's no inherent buff that it gives, especially in a team fight, which a lot of our games boil down to.
Yeah.
To these random fights that break, especially in the LPL, over like a buff or something, and that'll cost so much, or a Baron setup. And I think BLG definitely a team that can utilize the grubs, as Viper is doing. Should have a first item here. We'll see what what he went in a second. It is the Junhao. So this is a weaker first item spike than the Storm Razor. He'll need to stack it up. And that'll take a bit. Arn is a while away from his first item, though, being, you know, nearly 1.5k down.
I do think this is a game where, you know, getting a lot of stacked autos down as Viper should be decently easy.
Definitely possible.
Obviously, if he's the target of a cease and desist, RE equalizer combo, it doesn't matter what items he bought, he's going to die. But everyone else, he kind of outranges in this game. RE, Sivir, Vi, Rumble. So you should be able to get those auto attacks down. BLG have really just set up a full court press in this bot side jungle of TT.
Yeah.
Junhao is constantly getting pushed out of it. Feather can't even connect with his AD carry. He has to walk super safe by this point. BLG, they are definitely setting up for that dragon to make sure that that very big stacking you've been talking so much about, Jack, does not go the way of TT.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, Heru got the solo kill earlier, but this ThunderTalk comp really hasn't taken off. The combo, the Vi Ari, no equalizer around him, and he can TP. But again, they just aren't using their comp at all. They're just letting Viper get this massive lead in bot. Maybe if we get this dragon and it's a Cloud Soul, could be really nice, but even Shun delaying the dragon is really nice. Waiting, both top laners waiting.
This is top laners at their best right here.
Stacking up his heat.
Standing basically the same way, just
here it
waiting
comes.
TP. Oh my god, they channeled at the same time virtually. Here we go, TT. Let's see what type of fight you could start. Encore onto 3, into the 3-man knockup. Alley-oop, dunk down, BLG style. Oh my lord, it should fly halfway across the screen as well, as he gets an almost instantaneous triple. 9 TPs behind Heru. Now he's got to flash a fat wall. What a wombo from Bilibili Gaming.
Yeah, unbelievable team fight there from BLG. ThunderTalk's comp needs to front to back. They need to play it a lot more coordinated. Whereas BLG, Knight just dunks on everyone's head. AoE from Ashe Seraphine does so much, and then Shun just slams it home. As you take a look back here, so I don't even hate the ThunderTalk position. Dodges out of the Ash arrow here, but look at the Seraphine ult. It's just unbelievable team fighting here from BLG. The Encore, then the Hero's entrance.
They hit all their ultimates.
Yeah, and then Shun here. The alley-oop from Knight, and they threw up 2 basketballs, and Shun dunked both of them.
He virtually dunked himself through the hoop as well. That's how high he jumped in that one. Flounder even connects public execution. The funniest thing of all those ults, the one to miss was Vipers at first on the Ash arrow, but 4 out of 5, they'll take it. BLG all of a sudden completely dominating this game too. They're going to take the Herald as well on the back end of this. TT not in position to make that fight work, and we're about 15.5 minutes in, and we have yet to see a big cease and desist. We've seen 1 Spirit Rush for Heru to get a solo kill. No equalizers to be spoken of. It's another game where BLG's plan has completely stalled out the TT train. And this Ash arrow will be dodged on. There's the flash sees assist, Spirit Rush forward, but the charm lands onto On, who tanks it happily for his jungler. Heru's gonna grab that kill, get the reset, but here comes the Galio from Knight to cut off TT at the roots. There's the Darkened Daggers, the Hound's Pursuit cut off from a Blast Cone. Shun can't get the reset. He's gonna double dash back towards his teammates. A Viper flash forward to get that final auto in, and the slows are a-stacking on top of On. Taunt lands for Knight as he bops down Heru. It's another BLG bloodbath, and there's no sign of it slowing down because here comes Fondra to make it 4.
It's a little uncomfortable, I guess. Knight playing T1 Galio. Surely that's a soft spot. I mean, come on. But
I didn't even think of that, Jack.
I don't know. That's what came into my head. Like, Knight is choosing. He's like, I'm going to play this. Anyway, we all know what happened. Arrow goes wide. It's still fine, though. It's a good season desist. This is what we needed to see 10 minutes ago. We needed to see the Vi Ahri combo. It's too late now. We're talking in draft about needing to get active early, and they haven't done it. Now these big leads have popped up for Viper. That's the combo. Why haven't we been seeing that earlier in the game? It's too late. I mean, maybe if BLG had let you get to this stage and there were no leads, but Viper was running the game, Shun was running the game, and there's a huge knock-up. Why did that happen?
I don't even know. I think we just found a new interaction, Jay Beto.
That's the Faker Galio skin. It's the buff. You just get plus 500 knock-up on your E.
The only thing that made me okay, hold on. We're gonna have to hold this point. Heru's dead, by the way. Just wait. There's oh no, good charm. Does do a nice little interrupt. There's the Encore, though. Oh, my God. On hits Heru on the back end as well. He eats the Ash Arrow. Sees the assist come through for Junhao. He's going to go back in on top of Viper. Viper trying to glide out, but he is done for. Good thing he set up Flandra to be the cleanup crew on the backside of this fight as all the melees look to clean up and brawl BLG style.
Shun's laughing.
4 more kills, and Shun and Knight smiling, cheesing on the player cams. They know they've got this game and this series in the bag.
It's good to see the vibe's still good after the JDG series. Happy with how this game is going. Definitely having fun in it too. Always good to see from our professional players. But, I mean, Viper goes down. ThunderTalk finds something. Not a whole lot more to say. They're 7,500 gold down. Knight is... he's having fun.
Oh, man, he is having fun indeed. 7,500 gold. I can't wait to see this gold graph because the stark rise that we got to get to this point, it's all happened in the last 3 minutes of gameplay. It was like 1,000, 1.5, and then it was immediately like 5.5, and now we're up to 7.5. So, yeah, unfortunately, Jack, as much as I love listening to your analysis, I think we're running out of it with our current game
BLG, not a lot to say. I mean, we can always, we can take it somewhere. I think Viper having this big lead, and I think BLG shutting down. This is not a kill, so Viper and BLG shutting down the bot side choices into the Ashe Seraphim was a really smart decision. We haven't seen this bot lane in a while, like this early in the draft, but nothing left to play into it, right? There's no threat of an Olaf, which is really the thing that stopped the Ashe Seraphim prior, because it can't really deal with the Olaf that well. And then Viper has this big lead. Shun is, like, he's ahead. He's not monstrously ahead. And then that team fight happens where On's ult is amazing. Knight's ult is great. Viper's AoE is good. And then Shun just cleans up and the game just kind of falls away. ThunderTalk never really got to take a team fight that they wanted to. And now, I mean, they're trying.
They're looking for On, though. He's just going to turn around with an encore, and Flandra hits a backside public execution, and here comes the dive. Shun does get interrupted from his Darkened Dagger pursuit, but it just doesn't matter. TT don't got the juice to make any semblance of a BLG smoothie. It's a triple kill to Viper, and BLG wiping the floor with ThunderTalk.
So you got any good movie recommendations? I mean, this is where we're at in this game. 10,000 down.
The new Spider-Man was pretty
going
great.
over. I haven't seen it.
You should go see it. It's a very good movie. It's a lot better than that flash from On.
I mean, he lived.
He lived another day.
But the Odyssey.
But why would you say he lived, by the way? Why would you know the power that you have as a caster? You did that, Jack. You got On killed right
I've
there.
had some bad ones recently. I don't know. I can't remember which game it was, but I said someone was doing good and then I killed them. Like they died on the spot. Knight is also
gliding, man.
dead. Wait a
Viper? All right, Viper, you got
I don't even know what's going on. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why Viper's still here. Have you seen the Odyssey? I've heard good things about that.
Yes. The Odyssey is definitely better than the new Spider-Man. But where I will give the new Spider-Man credit, it has a lot more depth than I think a lot of Marvel movies do.
I saw a thing about Tom Holland, because he's in both, right? He's obviously Spider-Man and he's in the Odyssey. Yep. And then he had like an interview or a quote where after working with Nolan, had said like, we really need to consider why we're making movies and really involving ourselves in the script. And it's like, oh yeah, he went with one of the best directors of all time and now he gets it. He's fully serious now.
I mean, hey, I guess that's just what Nolan will do to you. Also, I'm sure that's what filming a movie completely practically will do to a person as well. That's what maybe one of my favorite things about Nolan or the Odyssey is that everything you see in that movie, there's no big visual effects. Like you see in League of Legends here, where a bunch of circles are landing on top of each other, a bunch of flashy things. The charm is the big one to point out there. Heru does find the kill onto Viper. It was a one-way trip for Junhao. Regardless, oh my god, Shun does not care about a tier 2 turret. And there's another great public execution from Flandra. The dive bros are going deep this time. They'll be able to collect a kill onto On there. Equalizer going to come down. While we were talking movies, by the way, BLG picked up an uncontested Baron. And now off another skirmish win, they're breaking open the TT base before we even hit 23 minutes.
I have to say, ThunderTalk's dive onto Viper is good, but Shun is so confident. He knows how the game is going, and Flandra actually putting on a good performance. This is the first game that I genuinely feel like, okay, this is good.
He is the one holding a 2,500 gold lead up against Keshi by this point. Improvements nonetheless, but I'm glad you called it out because we did outline that this comp from BLG does actually set an Mbessa up really well, especially the new public execution where it takes a little bit longer to wind it up. But he's actually just been hitting these, blind. Not blind, raw. Like, he doesn't there's no support systems there. Free hand, that's the better way to describe it. So we got to give props to Flandra. Another Ash Arrow going to go wide there as they're looking for Feather. Got Ocean Drake up in about a minute's time, but I think BLG are going to be maybe more pointed to try and get one more of these turrets down. They've got probably one more wave worth of a Baron wave. Feather is going to get his back canceled. Knight is virtually 1-on-4 right now at this point. He's got to run away from Heru and company. We'll be able to get away from them safely back to the waiting arms of Viper and On. BLG are kind of just going through the motions, everybody. 30 seconds until they get on Ocean Soul Point. But TT are trying to pick them off.
Wow.
Problem is they've got a global Galio to fly in. Flandra not going to die because the Encore from On stops TT in their tracks once again. They thought they had a 4-on-1, and now they've got a 4-on-none. 5 up for BLG, and they're pushing into the TT base from the 1 lane left.
Knight on T1 Galio in that spot? What are we doing? What are we doing, Knight? What are we doing? That's the shout out is real, but BLG walking over this game. Last game, ThunderTalk had a chance. This game, it felt like Heru got a solo kill. That's the only positive, really. Look at the damage that BLG are doing in this game. Angry after the JDG loss. Flandre with a great game in this second game. And a quick series by BLG.
Just a couple seconds over 25 minutes. And TT do come out victorious. They nearly had the same kill count as game one, by the way. I think I spotted it was 28-6. It's 25-5 in game one. BLG take care of business, and what you said really stuck with me there, Jay Beto. Not just after the JDG loss, but for the first time in a while on the calendar that we could say BLG lost multiple series in a week's time. Of course, the top esports loss we got to think about as well. Yeah, they look like they've righted some wrongs there, and definitely always stinks to be the weaker opponent that gets beat up on, but this is a thing as tried and true with any competitive league that you could see among many esports and sports titles. And BLG, yep, dismantling ThunderTalk. So that will make the top picture of Group Ascent a bit more interesting, Jay Beto, but I think the much more intriguing conversation now has to be had between ThunderTalk and LGD for that last play-in spot, because, guys, EDG's the other one. Don't even need to,
I think they're nearly locked, surely. Nearly locked in the play-ins, I would imagine. Let's take a look here. Yeah, not doing super well. It's close, but... So, I want to talk about ThunderTalk first. I think individually, good. You know, some of the drafting, there were issues, right? Because, again, game one, we saw some of the issues. I think they're, like, avertable in-game, even with that draft. But still, game two, bot lane was tough. Really couldn't deal with the Ashe early. But both games, a laner had a big lead in a comp that is designed to push that lead further, and it never happened. No one even looked at Heru that game on the ThunderTalk side. I know that Feather can't roam on Rakan, really, but no help was given. There was never a 2v2 that was taken. Kind of just let Viper get the lead, let Shun do what he wanted, and then that one fight happened, and BLG's team fighting is pretty good. What do you know? You need to be pushing your advantage. For BLG in this game, I really want to talk about Flandre. This is what I wanted to see. Is it the scariest of opponents? No, it's not. But getting a game, this is what I expect from this player. A weak side game. This is, yes, he picks the Ambassador into the Rumble, sure. It's a weak side matchup. You're going to sit there, farm out, lose lane gracefully as he did, rotate in, and have tremendous impact in team fights. That's what we need from Flandre if we want to see BLG in finals, winning that championship, moving on into Worlds later. Not what we've seen so far outside of that game. I want to say maybe Flandre is really relaxing and finding a groove, and we've seen it in this series. Would love to see how this continues on going. But other than that, Shun looks on fire. Knight and Viper are so scary. If you're shutting down one, Viper's getting a lead. If you're shutting down Viper, Knight's 5,000 gold up on Syndra. Yeah. It's very difficult to deal with this team. And they're continuing to look pretty good.
Yeah, and you know, the one guy we didn't really mention, you didn't mention there on, I think, you know, might actually be my vote for MVP with some of the clutch plays he makes in this game. But we'll get to that in a second. The on-stage interview is going on in the background. But, of course, we are, I believe, just at, I guess now we're at the midweek point of our week. So let's take a look at the schedule going forward here for the rest of week 4. Which, by the way, folks, we are already getting closer and closer to playoff conversation, especially once week 4 passes. But we are, of course, now through Thursday, August 13th. So, Jay Bet, I'll ask you maybe a little bit of a softball. Got 3 other days to look at here, my friend. Are there any series that your eyes gravitate to? I certainly look at ALJDG as a very fun one with where the teams are at right now. Yeah, definitely an important one. I like Superman vs. Kryptonite on Saturday, if you catch my drift. Yep. That's a good one. I see it. And then I will be on that one. Good. Well, I'm a little biased towards my last pick because I will also be on it, but I think Weibo IG is pretty important because it's also a last chance, I believe, for a play-in spot from Group Nirvana. I think I was talking, or I saw a conversation Dia was having before
about potentially being like Weibo being eliminated if they lose. So that could be a very interesting one too. The group Nirvana, this split has been very strange to me.
Oh,
so yeah, playoffs is going to be interesting. Play-ins as well. Obviously, no more promotion, so it's just for the trophy at the end, and obviously qualifications for Worlds as well. Teams having eyes on those. I think any match that involves Top Esports and BLG is really important because gunning for that first seed, they will meet each other. I think it's in the last week.
Yes.
I think it's next week. If next week's the last week, this is week 4,
Yep.
right? I think it's next week. But picking up these wins like this, getting a 2-0 here, Top Esports losing to LGD, like these are things that are going to affect the match later on. The head-to-head is important, but these are also pretty important too.
Yeah, and it's really funny. We talked a little about 2025, but we've seen so much BLG dominance in the regular season and the playoffs this year. It's hard to remember that last year it was actually Top Esports who was always like the top seed going into playoffs, which is very interesting. Of course, throwing this graphic up though because we got word. I didn't want to say it because I'm historically very bad at saying certain things are guaranteed and then finding out that they're not actually guaranteed, or saying math is correct and then it's incorrect. Congratulations to BLG. They do in fact earn themselves a playoff spot. They are locked into playoffs. I know,
Yep.
shocker. But they finally locked that one in behind this Game 2 win in 25 minutes and 7 seconds, Jack.
I know it's not as dramatic as maybe you would have wanted. There are two parts of this gold graph, one before 15, one just after 15, where it dramatically goes up, but it looks a bit smaller. I think I know one of those is that fight.
Yeah.
Pretty solid, easy win here for BLG, and congrats to them for making playoffs. They have a lot of championship points, so it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I actually think
they qualify for Worlds now, right?
Yeah,
As well.
I'm pretty sure that means they qualify for Worlds, because I know we were
They're
talking a
locked.
lot about how they just had to make playoffs, and we're getting word from our awesome producer. That's what the graphic actually said. So BLG, congratulations! Punch your ticket to Worlds behind a beautiful game of League of Legends. And I don't just say that because they won in such one-sided fashion. I say that because all the fights that they win are just really pretty to watch. And this is where I kind of wanted to start my On for MVP campaign here, Jay Beto. Those last two plays, the 3-man encore on here, sacrifice, puts his body on the line
He's
for
body
Shun.
blocking for charms and stuff. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he saves that play, as Shun might have been the one to go down. BLG turned this one. And every other encore he threw out was just super pristine. I think it's one of those games where it's like, I don't get mad at anybody getting MVP talks, but I actually think On has a strong case here. I don't think he'll get it, though. I will say
Could definitely see it. I think the Viper conversation is, in this game, it's a little moot because he's just pushing waves. He has a lead, and then he right-clicks. Maybe, but for me, that's not MVP. I think Shun, definitely. But I'd love an On MVP, actually.
Hell yeah.
I think he played well. The thing with Enchanters is, like, you have to get your kit down and then kind of die. That's it, right? Like, if you've got really, really low cooldowns, but in that fight, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that fight again because I missed that the first time. He encores, puts his kit down, and then just stuffs his body in front of the RE to block as many charms as he can. Really well played from On. And BLG as a whole, it feels as though regular season BLG, back in swing, obviously not the strongest opponent for them, but you deal with one problem, another rises up. I think you were talking the Hydra the other day. Someone said it. That is what BLG feels like to me.
Oh, yeah, like cut one head off and two more grow in its place. Yeah, that's an apt description for this team at this point. Last thing we haven't talked about for this series, though, Jay Beto. Player of the series. Where do you think that's gonna lie? Do you think they just give that one tonight?
Look, it's the same spot. Same spot. Top lane is getting gone on. The T1 Galio. Like, what are we doing, guys? The cosplay. I don't know. Because I feel like my vote for player... Like, if I actually had a vote, my vote for player of the series would be weird. Because Knight got it in game 1. I don't think he's MVP of a game 2, so he can't be series MVP.
So
I think it shouldn't. I think it
Yeah,
shouldn't.
that's where I thought you were going. Yeah.
I think maybe
I don't
On
think
gets
that.
it here, but like, are you allowed to get? I've had this discussion so many times. Are you allowed to get no player of the games and then still win player of the series because you were just consistently really good? I
don't
think
know.
the answer is yes. I mean, he's
Well,
going to get player of
well,
the series now.
Yeah, it doesn't. I was gonna say I would have really loved to test your theory, but we're not gonna test it. You know what I do find very funny? This is just another Slayer fun fact. Both of our players of the game, Jay Beto, had the exact same KDA. I'm not kidding. Knight went 8-0 and 8 in game 1. Because I remember I was going to make an 808 MVP not found joke, but then I was like, wait, that's 4. Isn't that 404? I think 404 is the error code that I was actually looking for. Is 808
I have no
also
idea.
an error code?
808 is
That's like
the
the rap
base
drum.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
808s, yeah. Well, okay, so if we're talking about player of the series talk, if we're going off of unanimous voting, Knight's 808 performance got a 8 out of 8, and Shun gets a 5 out of 8. You know what? Let's take our win here, Jack. There was one vote for On. One
Nice.
person. I believe it was one
I'll
of the casters.
take that. All right. Well, not bad. A little all over the place. Not like the first game where it was 8 out of 8. But yeah, very dominant win for BLG here. And have a quick look.
It's Knight.
Okay. I mean, I personally don't agree. I don't think the Galio game was player of the series worthy. It's just me.
I think it's if you went. I'm not bringing any large opinions to this conversation this time. I think Knight or Shun had to be it. So one or the other. I think it's fine.
I will slam my opinion. I think you
Yeah, go
don't need
for
to
it.
get a player of the game to get a player of the series. That's how I would be voting. I know other people disagree. I think you can have solid individual performance that is consistent but not an individual game worthy to get player of the series because you just were really good over the series, but you didn't necessarily have, you know, I don't know. I'm coping maybe.
No, it's a fun argument because it's kind of like if you think about it from like a standings perspective, like if one person was first place in game 1, but they were third place in game 2, do they deserve the spot over the person that was second and second?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Okay, that's some food for thought. Maybe for people like me, food for dreams, because I'm going to sleep as the sun comes up. Folks, that is the end of our LPL day, but before we get on out of here, we, of course, have some very special shout-outs to get to. I want to say thank you very much to our Elite Coffee supporters, that being Aaron Soup, Mung, Gelati, and Andrea Duran. Our awesome Elite Coffee supporters. Their pledged financial contributions help level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who strive to give you an English LPL product every day. So big shout out to our Elite Coffee supporters. If you haven't looked out and you'd like to support our completely, viewer run broadcast, it's all fan run thanks to you guys. Our coffee is linked below if you'd like to take a look. But that does it for our day of the LPL. We're right back in action with three more series tomorrow, and then again another game series, and then again another time. So it's all fun in the LPL as we look to run down a very short Split 3 here. Jay Betta, you got any final thoughts, my friend? Of course, it was a pleasure chopping up with you on the broadcast. But you feel more geographically locked into the U.S. after today's
Yes,
stream?
exactly. I'm going to have to... I know one time, I was talking with you about this, when there's a break, I'll do the Australian slang quiz. I'll come up with a bunch of ones. We got to do that sometime, and we'll see how you guys go. You might do the best. I don't know who would do the worst. That's another interesting one. Who knows the least about Australia?
We're all friends here. I'm gonna reserve my opinions until before this happens. I'm not gonna air anybody out here, but I'm excited for that. I'll hold that one to you, Jack. Big shout out to our entire crew that ran today. Of course, we had Gordo, Foles, Grapes, Alk Battery, all coming through. But the biggest shout out, of course, goes to our awesome producer who's there for all of those series, Ilya, behind the scenes. That does it, folks. We'll be back, same place, same time. 3 more series tomorrow. We'll see you there for more LPL here at LPL English.